The battle to control the Holy Lands began more than 1,000 years ago. In medieval times, European Christians set out on a series of crusades to try to win back the region from its Muslim rulers. It was a struggle between not only armies, but faiths. Over the course of 2 centuries, from 1096 to 1291, the Crusaders launched 8 major expeditions and countless smaller efforts. Return to the year 1095. The Christian world is split. In the West, Roman Catholic Europe is a collection of small states and kingdoms. To the east, the Orthodox Christian Byzantine Empire is controlled from Constantinople, which would later become Istanbul in Turkey. In the Middle East, Accra is a lively Muslim city on the coast of modern-day Israel. Accra is the gateway to the Holy Land. Just to the south lies Jerusalem, a city sacred to Muslims, Christians, and Jews. In a speech in France, Pope Urban II tries to unite Eastern and Western Christians by calling for them to unite to liberate the Holy Land. The speech ignites religious fervor across Europe. From princes to peasants, tens of thousands take up the cross, as going on crusade is called. The main armies of the First Crusade finally reached Jerusalem in 1099, nearly 4 years after Urban issued his call to arms. The city's perimeters are impressive. Fortified walls surround Jerusalem, but the Crusader engineers find a weak spot, not in the walls, but in the landscape.
This is actually the spot where the Crusaders breached the walls of the old city. It was the spot that throughout history has been used, because this is the flattest area in Jerusalem.
July 7th, the battle for Jerusalem begins. Jerusalem falls to the Crusaders 8 days later. The Christians overwhelm the city's defenders. The battle becomes a massacre. Historians estimate that between 10,000 and 20,000 Muslims are killed. The Crusaders also burn a synagogue filled with Jews who had sought sanctuary inside. For more than 80 years, the Christians managed to keep a weak hold on the Holy Land. Then a warrior steps forward to conquer and unify much of the Muslim Middle East. His name is Saladin. After Saladin's decisive victory at Hattin, he takes back the port city of Accra. 3 months later, in 1188, the Muslims win the ultimate prize, Jerusalem. Saladin enters Jerusalem in triumph. He takes control of the holiest Christian shrine in Jerusalem, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Saladin opens its doors to Christian pilgrims, many of them members of competing religious groups. To prevent one Christian faction from shutting out the other, Saladin places the keys of the church in the hands of 2 Muslim families. Their descendants remain the gatekeepers of the church to this day. Saladin's generosity fails to impress the European rulers, who declare another crusade with a new leader.
Richard the Lionheart was a war lover. He was the greatest warrior of his time.
June 7th, 1191, a 34-year-old English king sets foot in the Holy Land at the port city of Accra. To conquer the fort, Richard's army needs a shortcut. The solution? Portable attack platforms called siege towers. Rolled up to the enemy wall, the soldiers climb stairways to the top of Accra's walls. July 12, 1191. Little more than a month after Richard's arrival, the city of Accra falls to the Crusaders. Richard and Saladin never do meet in person, but on September 2nd, 1192, the 2 great warriors make peace. The terms: Accra stays a Christian stronghold. Jerusalem remains in Muslim hands, but Saladin guarantees safe passage for pilgrims of all faiths to the Holy City. Over the next 100 years, several attempts to retake Jerusalem fail. Instead, Muslim forces have slowly won back much of the region. By summer 1290, Accra remains the last major Christian foothold in the Holy Land. Here, Europeans trade goods and ideas freely with the Muslims. But the dialogue soon breaks down as Muslim and Christian leaders renew their power struggle. By this time, most Europeans have lost their taste for crusading. Accra's Christian defenders are no match for the Muslim army. Never again do the Crusaders control a part of the Holy Lands.
The fall in Acre in 1291 was a key event. It was the end of the story. It was the last major enclave to fall.
The Crusades left an estimated 1 million people dead. While they did open a dialogue between Christians and Muslims, the repercussions of those long-ago battles are still being felt today.